Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Well, you're early. What? I only said my videos would come out in the summer. I never promised a date. And it's not like this is the first time 2020 has thrown a wrench into someone's plans. Okay, look. If you really want to hear a story, then take a seat. No explosions, no plot twists, no video games. That's all for next week. Settle down, grab yourself a drink. It's time to tell you about being nice. Many years ago, in a faraway land, and I'm saying like 8 years, and right that street over there, a boy was feeling very depressed and complaining about it to a friend. Like, oh my god, like, what is the point of being nice to everyone when they don't even do the same to me? Like, FM else's, I can't even. Like, oh my god, I hate being nice and cheery all the time. It sucks. Like, nobody understands me. Oh my god.
Chris, what the fuck?
Okay, I don't know how young people talk, but I feel like many of us have been in this situation, right? You're investing so much time and effort into someone and get nothing in return. You get the feeling that others don't care as much about you as you care about them. And that hurts! At the time, I didn't really know a lot about this, because if I'm honest, being like this sort of runs in the family. We're just used to being nice and getting cucked, really. But you're not here for my sob stories, right? I'm kidding, of course you are! So, I continued my puberty just with this odd conflict inside of me. Yes, of course I was continuing to be nice, but I felt like I was obligated to. I felt morally required to help others, and would always expect compensation. In my mind, even just spending time with my friends was a transaction. And because I was constantly expecting others to reward me for doing basic human decency things, I was disappointed. Ultimately, I was completely cut off from the emotionality of it all. New experiences were just experiences, and experiences are knowledge, and knowledge is power, or something. I don't know what was going on in my mind at the time, but it certainly wasn't healthy. I became a hopelessly cynical person, because if you live by this logic, being kind to strangers is superfluous beyond what is socially required of you. It creates this sort of broken economy of ever-shrinking kindness. It was only rarely that I truly felt like others deserved more happiness than they already hold. It distanced me from the people around me, as I didn't really know what I ultimately wanted in my life. This too, however, is something that society teaches us. You shouldn't follow what makes sense to you. You should follow what makes sense in general. So what about my decision to moving to a different country? That wasn't logical at all. And with each new stone in this road, I only wanted to escape harder and harder. I escaped, and I fell flat on my face. And honestly, that was the worst couple weeks of my life. Until I was saved by a random act of kindness. I'm not joking when I say that people I have never met before just randomly decided to be nice to me one day. My cynical ass got to live with them, study their ways, and in a desperate attempt, try to understand why they would do this. The answer, however, left me even more confused. There was no reason. To them, being kind was simply a way of life. And they knew that living this way would often just lead to pain, but that too they lived out with pride. It was pretty overwhelming to literally owe somebody my life. Kindness for me was an exchange, and I couldn't exchange my life. So over the months, while I was trying to understand how I could repay them or give something back, I just started to stick around. Be there for them, visit them as often as possible. And before either of us could realize, we became a family. The reason all of this stopped bothering me is because I realized that love doesn't work around a mathematical formula. Sometimes you give more than what you get back, and you get back more than what you give. And that's okay. So wait, just do good things and get good things in return because of karma? Is that the point of this video? That's pretty basic, huh? Well, first of all, the point of this story was that good things happened to me even though I didn't deserve them. And secondly, the opposite is true as well. So when I moved, I saw the occasion to evolve into a more sociable person, being completely open with my emotions, kind to others, and respectful of everyone. As you can imagine, that was a very attractive cocktail, but it might have attracted too many people. It's safe to say I kind of went overboard with new friends, despite the warnings of those that actually cared about me. I became obsessed with the idea of being a good person, which is different from being popular or liked, because I wanted everybody that has ever met me to know that I am a good person at heart, even if they didn't like me. And if they didn't like me, they didn't like a hardworking, genuine guy for no reason. Being there for others, no matter the cost, became my only hobby, and I dreaded being alone. It was boring, it was scary, it was unproductive. And fixing other people gave me a form of satisfaction I had never felt before. Blatant egocentrism aside, I failed to realize where this would take me, and this summer I had a rude awakening. Thanks, Chris, for stopping my third suicide attempt this week, but I will try again next weekend. Thanks, Chris, for making me meet new people, but when you go home, I will fuck your friend. Thanks, Chris, for restoring my faith in humanity, but I will try my best to take yours. Thanks, Chris, for helping me out with my exams, but I don't give a fuck if you fail them. Thanks, Chris, for always being there when I have problems with boys, but I still have a boyfriend and you're alone. Thanks, Chris, for being the mature one, but when you have a problem, I'll call you childish. And then you come to me and you tell me, oh, Chris, but I didn't fuck her this time. Aren't you thankful? No, I'm not thankful. You took everything away from me. You did this to me. I had so much hope and you took it all away. It's your fault! Yeesh, I'm glad we cut the cameras on that guy. As it turns out, being unconditionally nice all the time did eventually bite me in the ass, shocker there. I felt betrayed by the people around me. After doing so much for them, I was still worth less than dirt to them. Now, here are some straight up logical fallacies in that reasoning. Firstly, if you tell people that you will be there for them no matter what, that's what they'll start expecting from you. It's hard to build up a persona of a straight up emotional rock if that's not what you actually are, and the expectations towards you will grow accordingly. Furthermore, while people can and will exploit others, it's completely unreasonable to assume that they do this willfully and all the time. There is a reason you are friends after all, and trying to categorize the world's population in good and bad is a horrible idea. More on this in my next video. As my sister put it so eloquently while I was writing this, these people are your friends. Just because something happened between you, you can't ignore all the good they brought into your life. Because if you let it come to this, it actually says a lot more about you than about them. And if they feel they can rely a lot on you, it's not out of malicious intent. They're not actually trying to exploit you. And she's right. Being nice isn't generally applicable. It's not a personality trait. It's not something you inherently have. It's a decision you make in a given situation. And it should be a choice, because being kind to others can be an incredibly self-fulfilling and empowering experience if you do it in a healthy way. This isn't to say that you should constantly be looking at your own mistakes. In fact, I'd argue that there's toxic people that can be good for you and good people that can be unhealthy for you. By the way, my transition into more dominantly asserting my value to others around me hasn't been the smoothest. But after multiple times crying on the phone and calling my friends at 1 AM explaining my behavior, I can say that I'm happier? Clearly, I haven't struck the right balance yet, but the negative energy inside of us can be channeled just as much as the positive one, and it'd be very ignorant to not utilize it. I think people are best when they are considerate. We need to be understanding towards each other. None of us can be nice all the time, not even towards our friends. More than demand each other's time, we should be happy that we get to spend it together. So, in short, be nice when you want to be, not when you feel obligated to. Who knows, you maybe even change somebody's life forever, and that's Coming! Stay safe, everyone. See you next week.